What's going on? My name is J Larsen, and I am here to talk to you about how to make money from a podcast, which is one of my favorite topics. I've released over 700 episodes in the last 3, 4, 5 years, and it's become one of my major revenue drivers, but not usually through the most traditional methods. I'm excited to share them with you. Now, I'm going to tell you that last year we only had paid ads running, probably 2 months of the 12. So the majority of my money last year and honestly a lot of the year before comes from the fact that I continue to publish on a podcast. I think I'm on my 4th or 5th show now. I had a show called Sales Funnel Radio, Secret MLM Hacks Radio, One Funnel Away Stories. Launch for Profit is my current show. We have another YouTube show called Pursuit of Profit, which you're on now. So these 4 podcasts, though, they have honestly been the main revenue and lead drivers for most of my business. Now, I'm excited that you're here on this video, and if you're interested in podcasting, there's a study that was done, I'm not sure when it was. It showed that podcast listeners are typically 6-figure earners. And that's really powerful to understand. I'm going to draw out for you a really cool model that I started coming up with and have used to turn podcast listeners, what's up YouTubers, how you doing? To turn podcast listeners into leads. Just understand, first of all, the nature of the platform of podcasting. I made a major mistake when I was actually podcasting first off, because I would take my podcast and sometimes I would treat it like YouTube, or I would take YouTube and I would treat it like podcasts. You have to fit the content to the context of the platform. That right there will save you a bunch of money. I used to spend 15 to 20 grand a month on my content machines, and we would take a piece of content and then we would pull the audio, and then we take the audio and we get it transcribed, turn it to a blog, and then we take the video, take screenshots, and now those were thumbnails and Instagram quote cards. And it was cool, but dude, it was expensive, man. 15 to 20 grand a month. And I was laughing because someone was like, well, all this content production stuff doesn't make you any money. I was like, we're literally spending 50 to 20 grand a month on content production and almost have no other ads running. So yeah, it does. All right. And that's what I'm going to share with you guys and teach you guys during this, okay? So podcast listeners, you need to think of it less like YouTube. It's hard to transcribe stuff and just go straight to podcast. Think of YouTube as Times Square. The energy of Times Square, it's loud. There's lots of ads all over the place. People are spending a couple million a month just to have their ad in Times Square there, right? Really cool, really. But if I take a podcast, which is more country road, and I put it in a YouTube feel, it usually doesn't do that well, which is why we stopped putting my podcast on YouTube. Same thing, vice versa. If you have a YouTube channel, you're like, oh my gosh, YouTube's awesome, I'm gonna rip the audio and go put it into iTunes. Theoretically, that sounds really good, but now you're taking Times Square on a country road. And the feel of it is different, okay? The content needs to match the context of the platform. Hope that makes sense to you. So I'm gonna draw for you a really easy way to pull leads from your listeners on podcasts and start to translate it into your other products and sales. Now, this is a model that I don't know if I came up with it. I think I did. I'm not sure though. This is years ago when I did this, but this is basically all that happened. You can check this out actually right now if you want to. This is a live version of this. You can go to launchforprofit.com. I'm going to draw it right now. Launchforprofit.com. Launch for Profit is the podcast, and it's one of the top podcasts on iTunes right now on its subject. It does quite well. It's been very successful. It's not that old of a show either. But Launch for Profit is a page, launchforprofit.com. You're going to see a page. There'll be video. There will be a freebie. Put your email in and click submit, and we're going to push you over to this next page where you get a download and a share goodie. Okay, so that's basically it. So on this very first page, we opt in, and then we download on the next page. All right, so they opt on in. Now, what did we really just do here? Those of you guys who've been in the marketing game at all, you have probably noticed right here that we just collected their email address. Oh, baby. It's all about the list. We are literally building a list off of a free thing called podcasting. So now I draw it usually as like a bucket. So we have a list, and these are people that have opted in to the actual show page now. And in return, I've given them the thing that I promised. So now what I like to do is I will automate a whole bunch of emails, and this is what it looks like. Fortune is in the follow-up, even if the thing is free. Okay, so check this out. I will drop out an auto series of 5 really valuable emails. There's something special about the number 3 to 5 when it comes to follow-up and marketing. Okay, so I'm gonna put 3 to 5 in there, and I'm gonna do 5 different follow-ups. What am I actually following up on? Because I'm giving them the free thing that they wanted that's really valuable. And you'll see it on launchforprofit.com. If you put your email in, you'll see I'm giving you away some of my top launch cash flow strategies on the internet. I made millions of dollars with them, on and offline actually, okay? You're gonna see that, holy smokes, so what am I following up with? The first thing that I'm doing is this, okay, check this out. I, first of all, want them to consume the download. I want them to consume this PDF. But what am I doing with these? All this stuff is free. That seems like a lot of stuff to build and maintain, Steven. Well, one of the things I like to do, there's 2 strategies I'll play with this. The first is this. I'll do a little mini course. Okay, and this mini course right here is a series of 5 free videos in a mini course. And its entire intent here is to get people to know, like, and trust me. So it's 5 free things. Hey, I got a little mini course here for you. Want it? Here's day 2 of the course. Here's day 3. Here's day 4 or 5 of the course. Here's the final day. Okay, now this gives me an opportunity to provide more value to the marketplace than other podcast providers. They're on my list. They're thankful that they are. But what does this open up a gap for me to do? Ooh, baby. Honestly, I launched one of my first $1 million products. This is how I have built a list that is quite large on the internet. The benefits of this have been really massive. Okay, so check this out. What this allows me to do is now it opens a gap in their head where it's like, you know what? Steve Larsen's eyeballs are gigantic. He yells a little too much maybe. He's a little spicy sometimes, but he knows what he's talking about. Because I've seen this, and this. Look at all the value he's provided. All I go do now is I will follow up in 2 places. 1, I'll start sending emails that ascend them to my next paid product or to a presentation where there's something that's going to be paid. Something where it's paid, right? I'm going to go make a product and now it's actually paid. And so I'm going to start sending them in the email sequence. And so I'll start putting in a couple emails that softly, my email drawings are getting worse, that softly say, hey, go to that thing, it's really cool. Hey, go to that thing, it's really cool. But it's after I've created value in a relationship. I'm not leading with the sale off the bat. That's like asking someone to marry you on date 1, right? Does that make sense? We're not ready for that relationship, man. We need to create the relationship. Then we need to go after that and actually start asking for the sale. This is a very, very beneficial way to sell things on the internet where people thank you to buy. The first time I ever pulled this off, I ended up having 2,000 people go through this and put their email in, and 400 people joined a waiting list for whatever product I was going to go actually sell to them next. People are staying up the whole night waiting to buy with their credit card in hand. This is a very powerful strategy, okay? That's the first place I'll follow up. The second, though, man, they're on this page down here. I'm going to say, hey, do you want that thing? Do you want that thing? Do you want that thing? And it's super soft. Not a hard close, not a hard sale, but it's taking them off the page and bringing them here to that thing. This is one of the greatest ways to make money with your podcast. All right, guys, one of the other easiest ways to turn your podcast into cash, there's a really powerful thing that happens when you start trying to sell the marketplace something. People say the most magic, lucrative, wallet-thickening thing they possibly can. No. That's good, man. You want people to say no to you when you pitch them. Why? What you're going to do is you're going to start making a list of the most common reasons people are not wanting to purchase from you. And so when people come up and they start saying no, or, hey, I have a question, or I'm not sure if I'm a good fit for this, man, that's podcast gold. I list those out. And anytime I need a podcast episode, what do I go back to? Every time we make social media content, I'm not just making up stuff that's valuable. It's always tied back to and hooked back to what is getting people not moving forward to buy from me. So what ends up happening is, yes, I'm creating these podcast episodes and I'm driving them here for this thing. And they're coming here and people are saying no to me. Thank you, marketplace. I'm not my dream buyer. I need to turn around and make sure that I'm solving your objections. I need to make sure I'm progressing the sale. You know what? Thank you so much. I'm going to go and I'm going to make, seems like a lot of you have this major objection and then that one. You know what? That's going to be podcast episode. This is going to be 10. It's going to be episode 13. Okay, and what you end up creating is this really natural feedback loop that the marketplace is basically telling you how to sell it. And that's what no means. No doesn't mean no. No means I have a question or an objection. And when you think of that like a marketer and you start farming those things out, fueled by a free list, a free audience, the market starts telling you the types of podcast episodes it wants you to tell it. Hey guys, if you're liking this content, this is very powerful stuff. I've made quite a bit with this, but go ahead and hit the like, the subscribe button, hit the little bell so you can see when we have new videos coming on out. And go ahead and comment down below if you've used these strategies. The first comment in the comments down below will get a back rub from the second comment person. Moving forward. Hey guys, the third and final way to make money, in my opinion, with this is while these whole things are fueling your value ladder and fueling your product line, and you could change the direction of this to this product or that product or over here, over there. The most classic way that the rest of the podcast world knows how to make money with their show is through sponsorships. And I just have never done it. It's not that I won't, it's not that we probably will, but I'm 700 podcast episodes in. I've never sold airspace on my shows. I just haven't. There are whole podcast conventions and events that teach podcast listeners how to sell airtime and sponsorships on their shows. I don't know, sometimes I feel like it taints it just a little bit. That's not to say you couldn't grab money if it's sitting in front of you. We probably will do sponsorships and such with our stuff. Our stuff ranks really high, but sponsorships, it's a great way to do it. I just would rather get them on a list, control the traffic, and then hear their feedback while they say no, and then make my show better and my product better. Upgrade my sales message and all my content itself. One final note I want to make with this whole thing with what I just said there. I fell into a trap the first probably 300 episodes where I was building content like a content creator instead of like a marketer. That's different. I'm not just trying to create content for the sake of content and be omnipresent all over the place. Remember, a marketer's role is eventually to guide someone gently to the sale. And so when I started podcasting like a marketer and not a podcaster, podcasting like a marketer and not a content creator, it ends up creating these feedback loops where the market is asking for me to clarify things so that it buys from me. I'm creating a feedback loop. I don't have to guess what the market wants anymore. I just get good at listening. Oh, this is what you want? Sweet. This is what you want? Sweet. And by doing so, it's created a safety net and parachute for my business. Because I publish so aggressively, it's become a great safety net and revenue driver because of that strategy. Hey guys, if you want to see a few live examples of what a monetized podcast without being all salesy 24/7 looks like, go to launchforprofit.com. Launchforprofit.com will actually give you a download, it's free, of some of my favorite campaign strategies on the internet and ways that you can pull it off yourself. You'll also see little mini courses there. You'll see everything I'm talking about, and you'll also notice that I'm doing it in a very value-based, value-first way. Go to launchforprofit.com and get your free download now.